don't think we're that far.
No.
All right, any more comments or questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moving on to H, ordinances. Consideration of adoption of ordinance number 814 to amend the zoning map of the city of Alma as it appears in section 32-32 of the ordinances of the city of Alma. The ordinance is to conditionally rezone the property at 303 Valley Avenue from is it LI or L1? LI, excuse me, Limited Industrial District. If I went a little further, I'd know that, wouldn't I? To B2, which is General Business District, and to be subject to the conditions set forth in the conditional rezoning agreement.
Move approval.
Support.
Motion and support. Okay, any comments or questions? Any color by staff?
This is just the discussion that we had for here, for Dallas to the rescue for the group down at the end of Valley Street.
Okay.
This ordinance was, introduced at the end
At the end of.
Yep. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Congratulations.
Thank you. We got one more.
Got one more
Well,
thing.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a second.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
You congratulated way too soon.
Well, this allows you to get to the next step. Agreements then. So number one is consideration of a resolution authorizing the execution of the conditional rezoning agreement between the City of Alma and Ricky Campbell, Valley Street Rentals LTD Limited, who is the property owner, which conditionally rezones the property located at 303 Valley Avenue from LI Limited Industrial District to B2 General Business District.
Move approval.
Okay,
Support.
we have a motion and support. Any more comments or questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Now you congratulate.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to Alma.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for bringing the
Thank you.
business here.
We are excited to move forward.
Yes, thank you.
Glad to have you.
Okay, number two is consideration of a resolution authorizing the execution of the Michigan Department of Transportation contract number 2019-0625 for the state trunk line maintenance contract for the period October 1, 2019 through September 30, 2024, and to authorize the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. Your pleasure.
Move approval.
Support.
Motion support. Any comments or questions? Just pretty standard stuff here. Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and that motion is carried as well. Moving to reports. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any item within the section for individual discussion and vote. We have a report from the Alma Transportation Center for August 2019, a building permit report from August 2019, Planning Commission meeting minutes of August 5, 2019, and a Finance Department report.
Move to receive.
Support.
Have motion support. Any comments, questions? Anyone want to pull anything for additional discussion or? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we have received reports. Moving on to new business. Presentation by the city manager, Mr. Matthew Schooley, on the personnel policy manual revised as of September 2019.
I'm gonna do this a little different. I'm sorry, I can't operate from this back corner. That's why I stick things over there. And maybe you can see it a little better from over here, because really this has a lot to do with you folks also, so. Get this to pop up in just a second here. I want to make sure that you guys can see this. We're going in the right direction here. It's about right here,
One in every cross.
where it will get me.
I'm sorry, I can't see over
That's it. I'm working with the majority here. If that's the
This
case.
isn't gonna work.
The other thing is I might have turned off that light. I can't believe how.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it usually comes in.
This appears to be a fire hazard, right?
There.
Don't
There's a lot
be
of
dancing
details
around.
That's what I'm looking at. And don't steal my passwords or when I'm doing this, okay?
Everybody close your eyes.
And don't look at the sticky note on the screen.
Avert.
This sticky-
Scary thing is, am I gonna do it right?
Don't
That's what I
get
just thought of
ready
as soon as I did that. I didn't see that part. That was my bad. All right, I gotta get this up.
Need more
What I'm gonna give you, it was really talking a little bit about the the employee manual, but the reality of what I'm looking at here is gonna be more about Elmanet. I know, we're getting stressed. That's as far as I'm going.
Yep, you've reached your.
Is looking at Elmanet, and a little introduction into the new website also, but it'll be more on how Elmanet works and how you'll be able to access stuff, and then utilizing the employee manual will really be the thing to get you there, so. I gotta sign into my Google, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this at the same time somebody else was using this. Not too
That's all Dave.
technologically advanced yet that we can do two
Dave, you'll be
presentations in the
done
same
for not
meeting.
making him look as good as you.
Yeah. You could have just signed me in and everything, we'd have been in better shape.
Right.
As you know, Elmanet is going to be, and for those of you that haven't heard that, Elmanet is our internal, it's all you guys that are going to use it, but Elmanet is our internal communications thing that we'll be using through the city for both employees, and then all of our boards, commissions, and everybody else will also have access. Access will be limited to the standpoint of, you'll get an email sign in, you'll have your email will be your login, and then you'll be given a password, so everybody will have separate sign-ins. And you won't be able to see everything at all times, and of course, this is gonna be.
So externally, we get in through a VPN,
From
or?
you can get in from any connection, it's just internet-based, you can get in from any, I'm having trouble seeing up here. Audrey, you're closer, can you see it?
Not on the.
I gotta go to
screen.
my, oh, thanks, David, that was much
I don't
easier.
need a standard.
Well, you guys didn't wanna say anything, so you just kinda left me hanging, I get it, that's okay. All right, thank you.
It's hurting my neck, so I can't.
Get up there much. All right. The Elmanet, what this is then is our, as I said, this is our internal communications. And every employee for the city of Elma will have sign-in capabilities. This portion is not available to the general public. This will come in, you'll have access to our new website, which will go live on the 16th of September. But what this looks like is, this page here will have just an explanation from me on that side, but then I'll be able to, Brooke would be horrified if she knew I was using her as an example. But I'll be able to put news and stuff like that goes throughout the organization for people, for everybody that works here. I'll do a newsletter thing internally for the employees, that they'll be able to access stuff. I can do that kind of stuff for them. If you look then, that didn't work for very long, but 'cause I do need that other page. There we go. We're gonna change the font too, so it's not so darn big. But if you get to, and this is the area where I was talking, our policy and procedures now will be contained on this page. There's an explanation of our expectations with the policies and procedures, and again, so all employees will have access to our policy and procedure, and everybody doesn't have that manual. So that every time you make a change to the manual, you will be making a change to everybody's out there. Each department has a hard copy, so that if you have people, it is sitting up there, but every employee will know this is the manual. The electronic version is the most up-to-date manual. Our manual is broken down into these 9 different areas. From there, I will be putting a table of contents just on the top so it's a little bit easier. But as you can see, then it's as simple as clicking on chapter 1. Here are all of the issues within there. And all it takes is then a click on it. It's an introduction to that manual. Oh, sorry. Well, it takes a little bit. From here, explains it from there, which is nice to have everybody on board that way, and can look it all through. You will have access to this. All of you guys will have access to that. But every section, the nice thing about this in comparison to where we've been in the past is all of these are collapsible. It's a little bit easier to read, a little bit easier to look at. You will then have, so there's the manual there, and that's how it's broken down into the 9 different areas. Table of contents will take you to all those. I'll link those all in. So once you get the table of contents, once you find what you're looking for, it will take you directly to that page. Okay? Pretty simple.
So, Matt, I have a question.
yeah.
I know we talked about this in the work session, but I just want to make sure I understand. So with this manual, you will be going in and updating it from time to time, or staff will be updating it from time to time?
The manual is mine. Yeah, the manual is mine.
Will there be acknowledgement from
Yes.
staff that they know you have
Yes.
updated it?
Yeah, there will be, everybody under their sign-in will have a thing that they have to acknowledge. They'll have to acknowledge first the receipt of this and the understanding of this manual like we always have, and then traditionally, as we've done with any other change that comes on, the change has to be acknowledged also. Yep. So all those things will be there.
depending on the urgency, sometimes if you do the update on the same date every year,
Yeah.
then you know which is.
That might be when you get your sign-ins and
Yeah,
that
you
stuff,
do your
things may
signs.
come up for different times,
An
yeah.
update.
And I do think that that's something, unless it's something really pressing, that's a change that we have to make here, instead of trying to always change things every minute, that you'll change them more periodically so that things, unless it's something that definitely has to be changed, because most things are
You can
procedural.
archive then the previous
Right.
one, and you also.
And that's what we will have too, at the end of every one of these sections, there will be another section that's for the old stuff, so the old stuff never goes away. And if you see too, if you just take, any of these, if you have like a personal leave thing, if we make a change to that, when it comes up, there's spaces here, there will say, like this will always be the original manual. When we make a change, those dates will still say, the original was 2019. If we make a change and who made that change will then occur in the next one. So that all those
So
things
do you
will
have to
stay
enter
in
that, or
there.
is that recorded automatically by the software?
No, there's no, these are just documents, these are just
Okay,
PDFs.
so this is all
Yeah,
manual.
Yeah, so all you do, but I can tell you this, I did this entire manual, put the entire thing in here today in about 40 minutes. So all of those were put in, that's how easy this, that's the difference. When, and I know one of the issues with our website has been, oh my God, it's never updated, there's so much stuff in there. This truly allows us, and these guys know because they each, within each department, they have access to do their own webpage now. And we will monitor to make sure that we're staying updated, as opposed to the differences there, so.
You said you're gonna request that everybody print a copy for the department?
Every department will have a hard copy that's there. It's just not their own, just one copy in each
Just
department.
one copy.
Yep, just one
I would
copy.
really strongly urge you to reconsider that and forbid people from printing it
Yeah.
unless they need a section.
We have some folks
It's
here
never
that
gonna- Hard
just,
copy is never gonna be up to date.
and we have some folks here that are just, and I would imagine in a short while, we will probably move on from some of those things. But until we get there, we'll probably still have that.
Acknowledgement that they know of the update.
Yeah, and the updates will have to be known, and that, but that's one of the issues that's come on, anybody who's ever dealt with manuals. I wrote the policy procedure in the police department for years, and that was always the issue. You know, we updated this when, and we have 30 copies out there, and you've given all 30 copies, but if they didn't get in their book,
But
that's
as
true.
long as.
But you still had to acknowledge it, and that's on you.
Then they're aware
Yep,
that there are
I'll do that.
changes.
So, that's really the policy procedure portion.
This was, yeah.
Over here, when you guys get your sign in, when the commission then gets your sign in, and I'll start on that paperwork, we'll start on that in the next week to get all of that, so that you can then get your stuff. You'll come to this page, which will bring you to the city commission page. Here's what I really like. There's a lot of different things that we may talk about. There's a lot of different things that I can give you information and give you more documents, and I know that's what you love. You're going, geez, thanks. But we can give you more of the documents that you get a chance to read a little bit earlier. And we can link them in. Here's the conference I was just talking about in the news during the work session tonight. And it's just a link in there that would open that right up for you on another page. So there's, I can say this is what we're talking about, but here it links you into that page. I'm just too high to be able to see what I'm doing here to get rid of some of this. Oh, it took me right off the whole thing, of course. But, so when you sign in, that's essential there. This is the Leading Change Building the Communities Conference that's coming up on the 9th that you've had, so you'll have that information that you can take a look at. Your meeting packets then will be right here under the agenda. I put tonight's already in there, it's just a PDF to open. There's my newsletter that you'll have. From there, and those will all be archived, still in there. The handbook is right here then, PDF,
That's all I do now.
organizational chart. And then there's an MML handbook for municipal officers you can look at. And so there'll be different things that will go in here that you're able to go ahead and take a look in. And you'll have exclusive access to this area. Employees don't have access to this area. Only those of us who are putting things in you. So that will work. As you look down, forms and publications, we really just started on this. These will be forms and publications for employees. And we will end up with a whole list of things. The health insurance forms that they have to fill out. So all of these forms now will be available, and that's just a test PDF. These drawers wouldn't show up if I didn't put a test PDF in there. But we'll start to build all of the forms that we have in the city that we utilize, as opposed to having to come to Sheila's desk and everybody standing there waiting to try and find the form to fill it out. The other thing we'll be doing is making the change in the form so they're all fillable, they're all PDF fillable, so that people can actually fill them out that way and get them back. It's just becoming much more utilizing the technology that's there. memos that are sent out. I don't send out a ton of memos that go citywide to everybody, but I have found one of the hardest things to do is when you try to get information to an organization when we're all not in the same building or we're in different areas, it's how do you get that out? And I know we used to stick them up on the board and then everybody to sign for them, but those days it's harder to get that information out. So the memos will go on here. I will send an email out to the department heads that say, let your people know there's a memo, but it's also going to be, and we'll put it in policy, their responsibility to check this page from time to time, that they'll have that responsibility. And so memos that I've sent, I've just posted some that I've done in the last little bit, that went out to everybody from there, different things. If we have, and what you'll see too when you get up here, that's just the quick links over there. Up here then we have things, you already saw that one. If you look at Planning Commission, for example, they'll have their own page. We're still just starting to work on that, but they'll have the same thing again. You'll get your agenda for the Planning Commission packet, will be right there on that page. DDA have its own, will also have its own, they can be there. So all of these boards and commissions will all have their own pages that they can get into and look at. And information can be left. There's other articles you can write in there too. I dropped this in last night at the Planning Commission. We got a really interesting, I thought very interesting guide to zoning reform and some of the things to look at. And so if we have things like that, we can drop them in there for a place that people can read them and do some of that stuff. So
Look at
that
us
should
entering
be
the 21st century. This
from
is
there.
great.
Always, and one thing that we don't have, and I didn't realize this, we don't have a home button. The web guy says people don't use home buttons anymore. I said, well, then how do you get back to the home page? But I guess you don't. You just click the logo, and it will send you back to the home button. So,
So you do
Good to
have-
know.
but so you do, it's just not so, yeah. And our staff, we've got, we're really gonna try, and I guess I'll do this. I'll go to the actual public website, because this is going to be, as you know, myelma.org was what this will be. And I think I already told you that the ci.elma.mi.us will still link to this. There's been a lot of work going on in this. This is a message I've put on. We can do banners, we can do all of these things. This is a message I put on to everybody working on their own pages to remind them that we are going live September 16th. It's fast approaching, how to get there. And so this page we're going to try to keep rather static except for this column. The second column over here will be news and things that we can get. One of the areas we're really going to try to focus on is the city calendar. By opening the city calendar, one person will run the city calendar, which will be Amy, but everybody will send her any of the events, community events, anything we can do to start populating that full calendar so that residents have a chance to look there. The how do I section are just questions that people may come up with. We're still working on those, but these are some of the most asked. I've asked for people to look at what are the ones you usually get. How could we get people more to use the website than to call us? As of this point, I've taken on the responsibility that says report a concern. So there is a form here that someone can then get in, report their concern, and it will come directly to me. So then I can address it from there and go through those things. Forms and publications. I think what's interesting here and what we've decided, as opposed to, and I think one of the problems with our old site was every page had their forms all buried somewhere in their page or their section. What we're gonna do as an organization is say, if you need a form or something like that, go to the forms and publications page. So there's no question as to where things are all being put. Each department does have its own drawer that you can then go in, go down through the drawer, and here's all the building, planning, and zoning forms that someone would need, and they can get them all right there. The assessing forms are all in here. All the different things there are Title VI it's required to be on there. Some links over here. And so there's still some tweaks that are going on, but if you'll look, we've got all the departments listed, boards and commissions, assigned now as to who's actually going to be doing all the different ones from there. I'm gonna bring this one up only because I think that it's gonna be a discussion we're gonna have soon, because our charter and code of ordinances are here. The problem is, if you've looked on our current website, we have that really long list of ordinance changes that we've made since what, 2014. We're going to have to codify all of those again. We need to get those all put back in the right document, but that's a little costly, so we're trying to do it. So what I have done currently then is, since they're all here, they're all here, that we can still get to. but,
If you go on the website, when you're looking at the ordinances, it'll tell you if there's an update.
yes,
So when you
right to the
see
side, it will give you.
Yeah, the
yeah.
original, it'll
Yeah.
alert you to the fact you better look.
That you better
at
look
that
over here.
To get what you need.
Yeah, so you can still get into Municicode. There's just a link that takes you directly to Municicode, then with all of ours. And so then here's our charter and everything. So all of those still exist. So I don't know if everybody else that works here is as excited as I am. I'll be honest, I am. I think this is going to be a game changer for us. It's really up to us now to make sure that people start to utilize it and we direct people to this page. But what's really important for us is that we keep it updated. And I think the idea that we have of the internal look of the Alma net too, for us to communicate internally is big. I think it's going to be a big help for us. This page, city services page, kind of nice. You've got different things that they can get to. We are going to do, as we spoke about, a history page to try and get some of these things put together. We started to populate some pictures just of Old Town Alma. I did take all of this. Oh, I thought I shortened that, but I didn't. This is the same thing that was on our old website, which is kind of a running thing of things that have happened here, which is kind of neat. I hadn't actually read through that until we started looking at that. But we would like to put some other stuff on there. The refurbishment project, we're going to get that stuff on there and do things. So that kind of gives you just an overview of all that. But until we go live, until you've heard from me that says you need to sign up for your AlmaNet, at that point in time, then we'll start punching everything out on there. But I think that our comfort level is much higher in utilizing this and getting it all out. So we look forward to it. Any questions?
Very nice.
Yeah,
I know a lot of hard work went into that, so.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of, well, I can tell you, part of the hard work was, oops, I don't want to hit it right in the face. Was sorting through sorting through the old documents and all the old stuff. Was as much as anything else, so.
And Larry asked, are we able to access it on this?
Yeah, you'll be able to get that, yep, that access will still exist right through there. Should be able to get it.
Okay, were we supposed to receive that report? There's no recommendation?
No, I think that was just,
No.
yeah, we're just gonna
You just gave it.
tell you what's happening,
Whether we want it or not.
so you know what's coming.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna just, is there,
Let's do the
is your
appropriation.
expectation,
Oh, appropriations.
is your expectation on this that we are going to take action? or-
I would like to think we could. I would like to think we could. We could cut it down.
So, we'll do our comments and our appropriations prior to going into executive session, which is item 2 under new business. And the expectation is that we do expect to take action when we come out of executive session, so if you want to stick around for that, you're welcome to. So with that in mind, we'll do the appropriations first.
Move to pay the appropriations.
Support.
And motion support, are there any comments or questions on anything? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, the motion's carried. Go to commissioner comments then. Roxanne, you want to go first tonight?
Sure. Great job on the website, Matt. Looks good.
There's a lot of people involved in
Yes, yes. Great job, everyone.
Okay.
That's it.
Larry?
Just gonna be tough on an old guy.
that. It'll be simple. It will. I'm telling you, Larry. It should be simple. It will be.
Should be easier, more
Hold my
intuitive.
mind.
I went fast. It will be easier, I promise.
It seems more intuitive, definitely,
Yes.
than trying to search through that list, and yes, I struggled with the
Would
former ones,
it
so
would be nice
this,
not to run into something that was posted in 2000.
exactly,
And
correct.
if it is, it was at least in a drawer.
Intentional,
It's there.
yes.
You only found it there because you went there. That would be the key.
It's supposed to be there as a historical
Right.
document,
Yes.
rather than a current
Current,
events.
yes.
All right, Roger.
Good productive weekend in the city of Alma this past weekend. Lucky McDuck Day was successful. We had about 850 ducks in the water, and I have forgotten already who won the first prize. I don't recall, but we gave away 100 prizes, and I think a good time was had by all. Everything went well. From what I understand from my son-in-law, the cyclocross was also very well attended and a lot of fun, and a good year for that. So.
Audra.
Kathy Talbrook, congratulations on her passing her test. And Matt, I'm excited about the website. I think it's going to be exciting. Definitely I'm gonna have to learn too, Larry, because it was a little overwhelming to me too, so.
Easier for you, though.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, so great work on that too.
And
Oh, yes, in September is Suicide Prevention Month, and today is World Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. So at Child Advocacy, we've been educating all month long, and today we wore our Continue t-shirts. So it's kind of a important cause and a big topic, and I would encourage if you have thoughts of suicide or you feel that you need help to reach out and ask for that. So.
is there information on your website perhaps?
There's information on Child Advocacy's website. Also, Gratiot Integrated Health Network is, that's who we refer to. They have a local phone number that you can call. It's a crisis number, and you get someone 24 hours a day on that line. The number is 463-4971.
Okay. And I don't know if you know, Mark, or if you maybe knew, is there any, like, if you call 911, would they have that information or to direct somebody to some sort of a help?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. I believe I think mostly the sheriff's takes most of those.
Yeah, the dispatch center has all those numbers too, so they can refer people right from the initial call if necessary.
Very good. Thank you. Michelle?
Saturday is Keep Elma Beautiful Day from 9 to noon. Meet at the chamber office, and we have some projects to finish. And get our mom plants out. Friday night at the Elma High School, it's military appreciation game. All military get in for free, I believe. And we can see the Elma High School band in their new uniforms, hopefully not in rain jackets. And I'm looking forward to the website.
Great job with the website, and not much more to add. Good luck with the month. It's a great project.
It's also Childhood Cancer Awareness Month too.
Busy month. Good work.
No, I'm fine.
Mr. Attorney?
All set?
Attorney with no opinion, okay.
Yeah, he didn't say, don't qualify for him.
No comments.
If you want an opinion, you're asking right here.
My apologies.
That's fine.
Matt, yeah,
No, I just want to make sure that we know the staff's really had a lot of input on this site. I mean, I guess we kind of forced them into making sure that we do this, but I think that everybody's input's been really important. And then everybody taking ownership of their own page and understanding we need to keep them updated. I think that's one of the biggest issues you have. Tonight, I've seen your guys' new website, it's nice. It's nice to see people that we're all kind of progressing into something where they can become much more user-friendly for people. They're gonna drive people there.
yes, and you hit on it exactly. If it's current, if the information's current and relevant, people will use it. It's a great tool, and I'm looking forward to it immensely. I'm sure it's gonna be great. Kathy, again, pass our best on to Barker. Congratulations. Things going well there, so Kathy gave us, our other Kathy, our finance director, gave us a great presentation earlier, so she's definitely hit the ground running for us and seems to be on the ball on a lot of things, so it's nice to hear that from the finance committee earlier today. So with that, we'll open it up to the public. If you'd like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and share your thoughts. Who would like to be first? Lori.
Well, my name is Lori, I live at St. Louis. Would like to remember the fallen firefighters and all the people of 9/11 tomorrow. It was a bad situation. It was heartbreaking, but if we can just remember everyone that helped, the fire departments, the police departments, citizens of New York, just pray that, they can do better this year, and pray that nobody else got hurt in the situation. And remember the fallen firefighters and the police officers that helped, and the Red Cross from down there and everybody else. Thank you.
I'd
Flags are authorized and encouraged to go to half-staff tomorrow.
And it was nice to see, I think a couple weeks back, that Congress finally fully funded the
Yes.
benefit program for those that went toward the disaster rather than most of us wish we'd run away from the disaster. So those people are going to be getting the benefits that they needed.
It's hard to imagine. I have a friend of mine that's an FBI agent that did end up in the recovery portion at the World Trade Center, who ended up real sick. And it's just, you don't want to lose track of those folks for, we tend to lose things as time goes on. And I think of Dallas every day.
Okay, anybody else want to address the commission before we go in? Please go to the podium, state your name and address.
It's me again.
Oh, you enabler.
Well, I have no shelf control.
No, I agree.
Did you really say that?
Yes,
That was good, Lynn.
If somebody has books to donate, do they call you?
Not now.
I just got a message today that somebody was gonna have a garage sale on Friday and they wanted to donate to your book sale.
No. They have to wait till October.
Well,
Okay.
no, take the books, bring them to the Wilcox building, and we'll put them, we can store them for a month. You don't wanna say no to the books.
I don't want to. Well, right now I do.
You know later you'll be mad you didn't take them. We'll just put them in a closet.
I don't have a closet.
Well,
You got a
there's
closet?
plenty of closets.
Put them in Audra's office.
Okay.
All right, take them to
Put
Audra.
them in the
All
red
right,
closet.
I'll
Don't
message her.
We already have them.
Okay,
Oh,
this
of
brings
course.
up some math. In the website, someone has this. Who do they send it to get this on the website?
Yeah.
That one, yeah, probably to me or Sheila.
Yeah, Mayor.
Sure. Okay, just,
Yeah,
I just
we'll make sure that-
because there'll be,
Yeah.
as that catches
Yeah.
on, there'll be more and more of this.
Yes.
We were going to discuss that.
So there was
No, I
previous
just think as
submissions
as
on the
an
website.
example of the.
Right, I understand what you're saying, right.
We can upload a document.
What we're talking about here is the giant used book sale, which will be happening next week. It takes place at the Fellowship Hall of Alma First Presbyterian Church. It is not, however, a church function. It's the Alma Area Used Book Sale Group. Isn't that a catchy name? Last year, we made $11,000 in used books. And we gave it all away to older people going back to school who are trying to better their employment opportunities. So I hope you all come. Buy books. We have great history and political books this year, and great fine art books, among other things, and a huge pile of Michigan books. Oh, doors open next Tuesday, September 17th at 9 o'clock. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we're open from 9 till 7. And then Friday from 9 till noon or so, and then we have to get out of that building. And if you're around, we will recruit you. No question.
Fair warning.
Be sure to be there. Okay, any
Seems like I booked
questions?
that day, I'm not sure.
This is another chapter.
We can go on now.
Questions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck again.
Oh, we'll have, by the way, we had over 100 volunteers last year. It's a huge community event.
It's awesome.
Great.
And then the money going to the scholarship is amazing. So, thanks for doing it.
Do you have some of the college sports teams helping you pack up again?
Yes.
Good old Alma College.
Volunteer hours.
Playing with kids here.
Anybody else? Tim? Waiting for you.
I'm just kind of flattered because
I got one of these and the rest of you didn't, so I assume, Lynn just assumes I'm more literate than the rest of you. Or I'm a high roller. As I was told, I can afford the,
Tim was a need-based distribution.
I can afford the $1.50. The children's 50 cents and 25 cents. Is probably
Children,
Hard to go wrong.
the target. Probably the interesting thing that nobody probably is aware of, because Rosemary was not at the August 20th meeting, is, we received a study on some of the, for lack of a better word, criminal justice reform efforts that the county has been kind of quietly undertaking for the last, really 7-8 years, maybe more than that. And, there's a trend nationally, but especially in the state of Michigan, to address some of the problems with the system. And some of these have been mandated by law, like, there's new policies and procedures for indigent defense, because essentially Michigan was really deficient when it came to the job we were doing with people who couldn't afford an attorney. And then other things have been kind of grassroots. Judge Rick has been working on expungement, which is another thing that's actually in the law, but it's just very difficult for some people to do because of the paperwork and the costs, because you can get things expunged off your record, which makes you more employable. You can't get serious things like murder, rape expunged off your records, but you can get smaller things expunged off your records. The county has been working, and it's really been kind of a combination of Jennifer Wood, the judges, and then their team of people. Stu McDonald, really taking a lead role in this, and looking at alternatives to just jail. And so, we have sobriety courts, we've had a number of these. We've had mental health court, for lack of a better word, different procedures, because what the reality is, and anybody who's really kind of familiar with the law knows this, but if you're not, it's just kind of common sense, is jail is not a good place, nor is prison a good place to get your mental health issues dealt with, right? It's also not necessarily the best place to get your sobriety issues dealt with, because jails certainly aren't equipped to do that, and neither is the prison system. And unfortunately, they end up becoming, the places where people who have these issues end up. And Gratiot County has actually kind of been quietly on the cutting edge for a number of these things. And we actually got a bunch of data on how well it's worked, and the long and short of it is it's been really, really successful. It's been a cost savings for us, in the sense that jail populations are actually down, but the recidivism rate, the repeat rate, is significantly down for these offenders. And one of the things that I pointed out in the meeting when they were talking about kind of the recidivism rate and looking at sobriety court, is one of the things that always strikes me when I look at police stories about someone killed by a drunk driver is it's almost always, and they've had 2 priors, 3 priors, right? They're driving on a revoked license. It's not, well, geez, this kid just had a drink the first time and they went and killed somebody. I mean, and so kind of the point I made was, this is great that you're saving money, but it's the lives that you're probably saving, because these people aren't still drinking and driving, which is the bigger issue. If this is costing us more money with the improvement in recidivism rates, it's money well spent, but it's actually a money-saving program. And so that's just something that I think that on the court side they deserve a lot of credit for, and we're actually probably on the cutting edge when it comes to the state of Michigan for that. So if you see any of those people, give them the thumbs up. The big thing for the county is the budget. We introduced the draft budget. If you look at it, we're projecting $250,000 in the red. $500,000 in the red. There's 2 reasons for that, really. One is we're putting another $750,000 in funding our pension unfunded liabilities. So if you take that out, we're actually in the black $250,000. And we continue to budget revenues fairly conservatively. We're all guessing, and you guys are guessing in terms of revenue sharing projections, and the blurb that they put out in March was not real generous in terms of there's no big increases there. We do have some wind projects coming online, though we have other wind projects that, are declining in terms of their taxable value. And, we're being conservative in when we're anticipating that revenue coming in. It's gonna come in, the projects will happen, but, you don't really know exactly when they'll happen. The things, just to update on the things that are of concern specifically to the city of Elma, we continue to work on the two things that we've been working on for a long time. We did get a bid finally from the second vendor for our airport study, and it was pretty expensive, I thought, and it did not include decommissioning. So we've gone back to them and asked them if they can tweak it and also add the decommissioning piece. One of the things that is keeping the authority from allowing the townships who want to remove themselves from the authority from doing so is we really need to understand what type of liability that would leave us with. And one of the purposes of the study would be to find that out, because that obviously, is going to not only take some kind of understanding of airports, but also some legal expertise, because somebody's going to have to look at, has this happened before, what does the contract say, has there been cases, what's been past case law in terms of findings, and that wasn't in the $44,000 bid. So we asked them to add that, and then maybe we could work on some of the other pieces. But it's the airport is not going to close. We've funded, what we've always funded in this year's budget for the airport. If the two townships don't make their payment, the airport has fund balance that can cover that, so there's no urgency, but it is important, and we want to do it right. The other issue is sharing of park revenues, and we had a kind of a managers meeting that Matt was at, that was also attended by Jim Wheeler of Greater Gratiot and our city administrator and myself, and came up with some good ideas there. I also had a chat with your mayor about it and got his input. And the good news is, with the wind projects that we anticipate coming online, and the millage being a 5-year millage, there will be additional monies coming in if we keep the millage rate the same. And so, as opposed to a kind of a zero-sum equation where it's, well, how much do we have to take from the county to give to, the other municipalities, there's probably the opportunity, to set a funding level for the county parks and also distribute additional money, significant additional money, to the municipalities. And I think there's time between now and when that millage will have to go live in terms of the language and doing what we need to do to make that happen. Really, the devil's in the details of what type of funding formula would you use, and there's been different ideas about, is it just kind of a allowance, is it a grant-funded proposal, and I think different managers have different preferences, and so we just gotta kind of work through that. But I'm pretty confident that we'll come up with, a solution that everybody can be happy with. Yay. So, it's always easier to solve problems when you've got money, right? You don't have to be a hero, when you've got money. It's when there's not, that's when it's tough. Anybody have any questions?
No questions right now, but I would like to take a moment to thank you for your work, particularly on those last two issues, but also compliment your budgetary skills. I mean, obviously, like you said, it's easier when you have money, but it's always important to spend it wisely, and it seems from, I don't know the details of your budget intimately, but from the outside appearance, it seems like you are managing things well.
Thank you. We've got
my compliments to the county commission and county staff.
We've got a great financial administrator, and I think the board understands the value of reducing our liabilities, and so, we know the windmill windfall is not forever, and so the more we can reduce our debts and, knock out some needed capital improvements now, the easier it will be to deal with kind of the new budget realities when all those level out. And so this is, it's kind of what you're supposed to do, when times are good, you're supposed to pay down debt. Doesn't always happen though.
Not everybody believes in that theory, but I'm with you 100% on that, and we're trying to do the same thing here, so we appreciate you taking the lead and showing us how to do it.
Thank
So,
you.
cool. With that, we'll, I think, entertain a motion to go into executive session. We're gonna need a roll call.
Is there anybody
What's that?
else?
Unless anybody else wants to say
Oh,
something.
anybody else want to speak? Oh, yeah. Anybody else want to talk? No?
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, now we need a roll call vote. We're going to executive session.
Commissioner Strahl?
Okay, what am I, sorry.
Oh.
You have to
I'm
vote.
just saying yes, right?
Executive session,
That's
yes.
working with it.
I was still back on the public comment thing. Roll call vote, yes, for auditor.
Yes.
Well,
Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Lett?
Yes.
Cheryl?